How are you guys doing? I do hope that you are well. I cannot believe we got less than 4 weeks and this year is in the bag. We're progressing to 2022. I tell you, it is crazy. It really is. Trying to finish my year. I really want to get as many tracks as I can because I don't know if some of you guys knows. Excuse me, I'm hitting the camera here. I have my notebook on the desk here. I've got to get a new one of these. This notebook lasts me a year, exactly. Well, kinda. But I have to get another. But most of you may not realize is that come January 1, a lot of these, I've always heard this, and if I'm off a little bit, correct me in the comments. Let me know if some of you know differently. But I've always been told these production companies are in full force come January 1 out the gate. And these are the best times where everybody, it seems like a lot of these people are taking time off between now and New Year's, which is weird. This is the time to utilize your time and get a coffer of music, 30 or 40 tracks or whatever you can get. Doesn't always necessarily have to be like me, but whatever you can get in the system of your publishers, whatever they allow. I'm with a few publishers that let me kind of get some volume there, and I like that. That's just me. Some people just writing albums, only do a few a year. I'm about knocking it out because I've learned that, and I've seen this growth exponentially. It's an exponential growth with this business. So we're getting that done. I'm getting it done indeed, and I do hope that you guys are well. But that's a little tip there too, man. You know, there are times of the year, really all year. Use your time wisely and get it done. Think ahead. Think about, if you're like me, you set goals each year. And I've set my 2022 goals. I got to go back. Excuse me, hit my keyboard. I got to go back and kind of refine that again. I've kind of set in motion some things. I set so many tracks a year for new publishers or what I want to do for a certain project and just kind of lay out how many tracks I want to do for a year. This year, my goal is significantly higher than what I finished this year at. I'll tell you, I finished 2021 out somewhere. It'll end up around 275 tracks. It's a lot of tracks, a lot of cues. People just tell me that's crazy. I'm like, it depends. I do a cue a day. Now, if I were doing trailer music, orchestral, or singer-songwriter stuff, I don't think it would be 275 tracks. Now, that's not to say there are people out there that aren't doing that. I've heard of people being able to knock out tracks like that in a day, so who knows? It also just depends on what you're doing in that realm, too, so that'd be that, man. But anyway, I wanted to get on and mention a little something. I had talked, excuse me, I don't know what it is. Every time I turn the camera on, it's this room. I think my sinuses go whack. A little bit about the software I use. It's called Reason. And Reason is slow going on trying to fix things like they don't have their M1 chip support going yet. The VST3 support is not up. And I'm just having some issues. And I love using Reason, but I think it's time to go ahead and just switch over to Presonus Studio One Pro for a while. I'm still going to use Reason, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and forth. How I got stuck into having two DAWs is beyond me, but I've got to commit to one that I know I'm going to trust long term, and I think Presonus Studio One Pro is going to be the one that's going to stay with me long term. Now, here's a good thing. I can still use Reason in Presonus Studio One, and I have. Reason, one thing I will say is cool about Reason is they made Reason a VST where you can use the Reason rack and all that stuff in Presonus Studio One. So they're not really doing the rewire thing anymore. And if any of y'all know about rewire is something to be able to take a track in a DAW and rewire Reason into something else. And that's what I had to do back in the day when Reason wasn't using VSTs. I had to take Reason and put it into Presonus. And I was so glad when they had VST support, and that wasn't that long ago. That's how behind Reason is on this stuff. But, and I will continue to use Reason. I love it. I love its workflow, but it needs a lot of improvement. It really does. There's so much that Presonus can do. Reason just isn't even close. the drag and drop functionalities and a lot of the cool editing stuff. Oh my gosh, they have a lot of the stuff that I was watching last night in Studio One Pro. And if you're new to recording and you're looking for a good DAW, or if you're looking to change, look at Presonus Studio One Pro. It's amazing. It really is. Go to Presonus, and there's 2 people you can follow. His name's Gregor. He's German. I cannot pronounce his last name. Starts with a B. And then, of course, Joe Gilder. He lives in Nashville. Those 2 will show you some of the coolest features of Studio One Pro. And I will also tell you by experience that they have several, not several, they have a few levels of Studio One. You've got the Prime, which is the free, which download the Prime, the free. It's very scaled down, but it'll give you an idea what you're looking at. You can toy with it. You can try Pro. You have a trial. It'll give you a full trial. I don't know how long it is, but they have the artist version and the Pro. Now, as artist seems to be cool, go with Pro. I'm telling you, just pay the extra $100 and go with Pro. You know, the paid updates are averaging every 2 years or maybe more. Maybe it's $130 or I think, or something like that, to update to a new version, but it's so worth it because you get a ton of free updates in the middle. You don't have to pay for a lot of them as you do a lot of these DAWs, but they're constantly updating stuff, which I think is so cool. The reason why I say Pro is because you have features in Studio One Pro that, like your mastering, which is the project page, and how you don't have to leave the DAW and then drag and drop into that. You can go from the song into the project. It'll update it, and it'll import them internally. It's so cool because when Studio One started out years ago, when I was using One, you had to export all the tracks, and then you had to drop them and slide them back in. Well, now you can do everything internally. So if you go in, just go watch the video. It's so cool. If, let's say you're going on the Wave, the master file, which is a 2-track, and something's too high or you need to adjust the frequency, all you got to do is click go back to song. It goes back to your multi-track song. You adjust everything, save it, and then you go back to the project page and it'll say song has been updated. You see a little red dot. You click it and hit update. It'll update and re-upload and remix. Basically, it'll render the mix back into the project page without you having to do anything. You don't have to do anything. And in an instant, you got it right there. So it's so cool that everything is at your fingertips, being able to do that. But when you see it, you'll see it. I mean, there are people who do much better of a job showing you that than I could. But it's something to look into. I just think I'm going to have to, I got to start using that more. So I'm going to, every other day, I don't want to lose touch with Reason, but for a while I'm going to teeter them. I do know that there's some projects I have to do in Presonus. If I did a heavy, intensive orchestral stuff, which I'm not a big orchestral guy, or a lot of stuff that is big time CPU intensive, I'm going to have to, because Reason just isn't keeping up with it. I hate that, but it's true. It's just not doing it. And Presonus just has a better capability of being able to freeze tracks and be able to utilize and still perform MIDI, and being able to, it has an internal, their technology of being able to prevent latency is so cool. I cannot tell you verbatim what that technology is, but you can read about it, and it's amazing. The whole story about how that software was developed. But I mean, that was the first DAW that rivaled Pro Tools and sent people running for Presonus over Pro Tools. It really was. You know, of course, Logic Pro was out there, but Presonus Studio One Pro really gave them, you know, a run for their money, and it still has. Because a lot of people are going, you know, that Pro Tools is Pro Tools, but they want something that's more of a sequencer and cater to that. But hey, it's all out of preference. If you choose to use Pro Tools, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it at all. I just had to have a different type of DAW. I ran Pro Tools, but it was the first computer recording software ever. I cut records on it, so I can run it. But anyway, all is well. We're going to finish this year out, see if I can get as many tracks as I can, and try to end this year right on time. I've got it planned. Hopefully all will go well. And we're going to make things happen. Get some music. Got my goals set for 2022 and off to the races. See what develops on that. I appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. And till then, be cool. Thank you. Bye.